Good evening, everyone. The time is now 5 p.m., and we will start the Monday, August 7th, 2023 Community Development Committee. Time is 5 p.m. Can I get a roll call, please?
Alderman Hayes. Alderman Newsom.
Present.
Alderman Donenworth.
Present.
Alderman Florian.
Present.
Alderman Turner.
Present.
We have a quorum. Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from July 3rd, 2023 Community Development Committee?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Donenworth,
Second.
second by Alderman Turner. Are there any questions to the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 2, we have a public hearing. Item A, CDBG amendments to the 2019-2023 action plans. I will open up the motion to open up the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Alderman Turner,
Second.
second by Alderman Florian. Although, roll call.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Donenworth.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye. Motion carried. We have Larissa Garland. You have
Hello.
the floor.
Good evening. I'm Larissa Garland, the Director of CDBG, and I'm here tonight to go over the 2019 amendment of the action plan and the 2023 amendment for the action plan. In 2019, as we all know, we received COVID money from the federal government, and throughout the process, throughout the years, I put the COVID money into different programs, which consisted of being in program year, the action plan for program year 2021 and 2022. After speaking to HUD, he indicated that I needed to make the amendment and put the funding back into program year 2019, because technically that's where the COVID money came in. That account is still open, so they want us to put it back there to be able to record any funding that we have coming out of there. So in an effort to be able to do that, we're doing the amendment and putting the remaining funding back into the program year for 2019. So, and we have 2 programs that we are funding out of that. We have the Small Business Grant Program, Startup Grant Program, and then we also have the CARES Act Small Business Grant Program. So we're putting that money back into that funding in program year 2019, and I need to do an amendment because I technically had it in the 2 different action plans, so we're putting it back into that year. So that's the purpose of the amendment for that funding, and we will be using it to give small business, Waukegan businesses who were impacted by COVID. We were giving them a grant of up to $25,000 if they have income eligible businesses and they have to prove that they were affected by COVID-19. So we're doing that. We've been getting a lot of new applications, a lot for the startup. We've been getting both, but a lot for the startup. So we've been getting a lot of inquiry and applications for that. So that's the 2019 amendment. The amount is for $344,763.35. Yes. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if there was any questions for the 2019.
So you said you're getting a lot of applications. How are you getting the word out that this money is still available? Because I think a lot of people think, you know, COVID money is over, right?
Yeah. Well, of course, we're doing it on websites. We've been at various community events throughout the community, so we let them know about the program there. And that's based, you know, on social media, website, and then in the local community. Like we were at the fair the following Friday, we had it there. We had information about it there. We were at the library, we had information about there. I actually went and met with a group of women on a Saturday and explained the program and what we offered there. And so just being in different places in the community, and like I said before.
Are you asking people where they found out about it so we can find out what works best?
No, haven't. No, I haven't asked.
Well, it's not too late, right?
No, it's
So-
not too late. The
so-
money's still available. It's
But I
first.
mean, to ask them even.
Oh,
You-
sure,
you-
sure,
As you go through the process with them, you could say, hey, how did you find out about this? And then going forward, we might know a little bit better about what ways to get the word out about stuff.
Right. Well, I know a lot of people, I mean, just from in conversations, I haven't asked them where they got it from, just in conversation. A lot of it has been on the website. And then I know we put it out with the newsletter, so a lot of people seen it there. I know it's other organizations who are kind of passing it off as their program. So so a lot of people are hearing about it through, I think, social media.
And it's only for-profit businesses that can do it?
Yes. And you have to be Waukegan only.
Okay, thank you.
If I may,
Alderman Turner?
thank you. Are there any restrictions or on the types of businesses that this money's made available for?
Well, like she said, it has to be a for-profit. It has to make sense. Of course, it has to be Waukegan.
Yeah.
Doesn't it have to be related to retaining employees too?
That's
I'm sorry,
one of the
what was that now?
That's one of the requirements. Retention. So
Retaining employees.
either retaining employees or job creation is one of them. Another thing, the owner must make a certain amount of money in order to be able to qualify for it. And if they make too much money, then the people that they employ would need to fall within our income guidelines to be able to qualify for it. So we funded everything from a flower shop to a nightclub. So it just depends on what it is, if they have the documentation, if they qualify, if they can prove that they created jobs or job creation or retention. You know, that's what we're looking for. So we need the numbers to be able to explain the goals that we're trying to meet. And that's about economic development, job creation, and retention.
Great, thank you.
Were you finished with you were
I
gonna
was
go on
finished
to
for the
2019.
2019, so if
Is
anybody-
there anyone from the audience have any questions about the 2019 amendment or comments? Okay, you can go ahead. Mr.
Okay.
Grayson.
So for the next one is for the amendment to the 2023 program year annual action plan. So what we did, we have money left over from program year 2022, so we rolled it over into 2023. And so I provided a table of what we did. So with the lead line replacement program, we had $234,797 left over. So that was carried over into the new program year. In addition to that, we had money available for the sidewalk program in which we didn't get an opportunity to complete that program. So because of that, we took that $277,852 and we rolled it into the lead line replacement program for program year 2023. So that gives it a total of, from us, the total for that program would be $612,649 that would be available for the lead line replacement program throughout the community that you guys see going on throughout the community. So we put that money into that program.
So you took, I'm not clear on that. Did you
I
take
took
money from the sidewalk program?
Yes, from
Didn't-
program year 2022.
Uh-huh,
We took that money
right.
and rolled it into the lead line replacement program for program year 2023.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Okay. So then we also had our beach accessibility project, which went really well. It's going really well. So we started that in program year 2022. So we had an additional like $15,000 left over. So we just took that money and rolled it over into the new beach accessibility program for program year 2023, which gave us $65,010 toward that program.
I just want to say, if I may, that I've been down to the beach, and that wheelchair accessibility pad, or what's it called? It's a ramp. We call it a ramp. That is awesome. And
Great.
then with the new free rental of the beach beach wheelchairs for access. This is really, I'm really proud of what Waukegan is doing with Lisa May and what you working with her. So good job.
Thank you. And then the next one is the facade program. We had a facade program last year for program year 2022. We have been having some issues with the consultants that we're working with, so that program is kind of being revamped. However, we do still have one business that we've been working with consistently, so we are going to complete that business, and then the money that's left over is going to be rolled into program year 2023. We're going to put those funds into, we kind of dropped that portion into like a pot that we just distributed throughout to different programs for program year 2023.
What's the facade program?
We would actually when we started, we wanted to do the Washington corridor in between Buttrick and Noel. What's that street right next to the shoe? Maple. So in between there on Washington Street,
Yeah.
on both sides of the street, we wanted to do the facade. So just the front facing of the building to do rehabs to those. So we got a couple of people who were interested in doing it, and we worked with the consultants. We got renderings and how everything would look and all of that. So we have been working with the business owners. One of the people we're further along with, and so we're gonna deal with them and do that facade, and then we're kind of gonna go back to the drawing board with the program and represent it
Cool.
for next year. So because of that, we took the extra money, which was approximately $203,714, and so we reallocated that money.
Outstanding.
So a portion of that, however, will go to that existing facade that we're working with. We don't know the total because we still have to put it out for bid. So. And then the last thing was our housing rehabilitation program. We had $140,810 that we carried over from program year 2022 into the new housing rehab program, which gives us a total of $440,810 for the 2023 program year housing rehabilitation program. So that would be the total amendment.
I have a question.
Okay.
Do we have any homes waiting for that program?
Absolutely.
How many?
Over 100.
Ooh, okay.
Over 100.
Okay.
Do you track that by ward? Do you have a list of?
I do not track it by ward.
Mm.
No, and please don't ask me to do it because you're giving me more work to do.
Do me a favor and track that by ward, please.
No, I don't have time, no.
Alderman
But,
Florian?
So, the carryovers I understand, but how, is there a limit to how much you can carry over?
No,
You
there
can-
is no limit.
Interesting. So if you did nothing in 2022, you could just carry everything over to 2023?
You could.
That doesn't seem like something our government would normally allow. That's weird.
The government would allow us to carry it over, however, they're gonna be like, okay, why didn't you not do anything?
Right,
Right,
okay.
absolutely, they would question that, but yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Are there any questions or comments from the audience? Do the aldermen have any more questions?
And so what I'm asking for, so this is, has been advertised, it's on display, it's available, and so people have an opportunity to comment here today, as well as they can also write in, email, drop a letter, all those things to be able to comment on this. And after the 30 days, which would be August 24th, then we would be submitting it to HUD formally. But I would need an approval, I'm asking for an approval from council on August 21st. So the next council meeting, I'm asking for an approval of this amendment, and that's it.
Okay.
So we don't need to vote on that in
Not
the
tonight.
committee?
No, next.
Not tonight.
Okay.
Great,
All
thank you.
right, thank you.
Okay.
Great job as usual.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to close the hearing?
Motion to close the hearing?
Motion by Alderman Turner.
Second.
Second by Alderman Donenworth. Roll call.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Donenworth,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye. Motion carried. All right, Item 3, audience time. Is there anyone in the audience that wants to speak on anything that is on the Community Development Committee agenda? All right, hearing none. We're going to go on with our meeting. Item 4, we do have old business. Item A, resolution approving a lease agreement with Waukegan Chamber of Commerce for office space at 100 North Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue. Can I get a motion on the floor? No motion?
So Alderman, in case you couldn't hear me, it would fail for lack of motion.
So this will still go to the full council?
Yes, it'll go forward, but it will
Okay.
go forward with a negative recommendation.
Okay.
Hey, Kelly, can I ask you a question?
Alderman Turner?
Thank you, ma'am. Just out of curiosity, so when I'm watching the news and watching like C-SPAN and Congress and state government, and they have committees, I'm just asking for clarification or whatever. When something in those committees doesn't make it out of committee, it just dies. They say it dies in committee, but that doesn't happen here.
No, because Waukegan doesn't have a specific codified rule for that. So if you could codify a rule for that, then it would die in committee.
I thought that was part of Robert's Rule of Orders, but no.
No, I mean, in this instance, it would just go forward with a negative recommendation, and then we would let the council know that it didn't make it out of committee, really.
All right,
but
thanks.
All right, item, new business, item A. A ordinance approving zoning calendar number 2719, a map amendment rezone for 2226 Northern Avenue from CR Conservation, Recreation, Agriculture to R1 Single Family Residence. Can I get a motion on the floor? Can I make the motion?
sure.
I'll make the motion. Second. Is there a second?
Can I say something, or do,
There has to be a second before it can be discussed.
all right, then I'll second it.
Second by Alderman Florian. All right, Alderman Florian.
So I'm reluctant to approve this because there's still many code violations with this property that have not been addressed. So, until those issues are settled, I don't think we should approve this. Because I think what they want to do is add on to the house, and we already have issues there. I get complaints about people living in a trailer in your driveway. I get complaints about the property. I don't know if Mr. Berry has any documents with him regarding the violations that get reported on this property, but can you explain to me what's going on?
First, can you give your name first, please?
Current owner of the property. He recently purchased this property just a few months back, and he has been working on the property. I think he's actually working on it as we speak. He just recently purchased, though, and was not really able to do work on it until he became the owner, which was just a couple months ago. Once we purchased it, we realized there was an issue on the title that this is a CR zone, and the reason for our application is to change it from the CR zone to the residential zone, as there already is a property on the premises. So we're asking to have the zoning conform to what's there at this time. I know that my client is working on the property. But he was unable to work on it before because he wasn't the owner before. And now that he is the owner, he has been doing work with it. I've spoken to Mr. Sam Green about this several times, and he has been in support of our application, as well as the last meeting that we attended. We did have full support of the last committee.
Right, but I don't believe they're able to consider code violations as part of their consideration. Is that right?
So for the planning department, what I can tell you is that when a building permit application comes in, we're not able to approve it if the zoning is wrong. So they can't get a permit with the zoning not conforming.
Right, okay, but they don't need a permit to clean up the property.
That's correct.
Until, what I'm saying is, I think until the code violations are addressed, which I don't know, Mr. Berry, do you have information about this property available?
Listen,
I think we should wait until we know the property is up to standard before we agree to allow this to happen.
So I'm sorry, Mayor?
Alderman Turner.
So do the code violations that need to be remediated, do any of those violations require a permit?
Do they?
I don't have a list of the actual code violations. I've
had,
never been given any list. If you were to tender one to me, I'm happy to review it with my client and review it with the zoning board to confirm what would need a permit so that he can go on the right track to do this properly.
Yeah.
I know that he has been working on several things since he became the owner, which was only a couple months ago. The previous owner was, letting it get dilapidated, and my client was living in it but couldn't really do work on it until he was able to get the funds together to purchase it. So,
Okay. There is information in your packet regarding the violations. The home has a number of code violations. Open compliance case, illegal fence, extension cords being used for an outdoor lighting, an illegal camper, a front porch built without a permit. So in order to get a permit, it has to come into line with zoning. So I would think that this is just to bring it into compliance for zoning before they can go on and do the work that they need to do. And if there's something else that they're trying to do, they won't be able to get
permits
a
necessary.
permit to do any other work, any extension, any building onto the house, if they don't have these issues taken care of first.
And if I recall, I believe that's what Mr. Green had stated. There was a neighbor that was at the last committee meeting and
They
brought
can't do the
something
fence.
to the attention about this issue.
Right.
And Mr. Green did explain that to them, that we couldn't even get the permits to fix the place up without this happening. The last time that we were here, and I did explain also to that committee that he just recently purchased it. In fact, I can, if you bear with me a second, I believe I have a copy of the paperwork when you,
There are a few things that can be done.
Yeah, you can
Like
move
that
the
fence
car.
can be taken down, the illegal fence.
The
There
camper
are
could be removed.
the outdoor lighting for an illegal camper, that can be removed. Abandoned vehicles on the property,
Ms.
unimproved
Alderman,
surface.
could I trouble you for a copy of the list? I never
Were
did
these
receive
given
one.
over to the owner? Okay, you're gonna get it?
Yes, we'll connect with our code enforcement supervisor.
I'll give you a
Okay.
card or my information. Okay, I mean, if I have the information, I'll definitely be on top of that and make sure that he's addressing these issues, at least what he can for the time being.
Okay.
We just purchased this less than 3 months ago. And so I know that he was working on some things because some of the neighbors had complained to him, and he didn't want to have a bad relationship just having bought this place with his neighbors.
Well, I would recommend leaving it in committee until you get a copy of all the code violations that are happening right now before it comes back for approval for the zoning.
But regardless of code violations, the zoning issue needs to be resolved, even if it's.
Well, it can come back at the next meeting. And if they,
Does she have to apply to the planning and zoning?
I've been the alderman for over 4 years now. This property's been a problem the entire time. I hear about it all the time. So I'm reluctant to do anything to help them, even though they're new owners, until I know they're gonna prove to me that it's not gonna be a problem property anymore. I want them to show me they're different than the last owner.
Well, if I get a list, I can
Yep.
push my client to
Yep.
get some of this
Yep,
under
and then you can
control
come
and-
back next month and we'll be glad to approve this.
What would the next date, please?
Our next meeting would be the first meeting in September.
September, probably the,
After Labor Day.
September 5th. It'd be September 5th,
It would be at 5 o'clock as well?
most likely. At the earliest, it'll be 5 o'clock.
So there is a special community development meeting on the 21st of this month. So,
If you wanted to hold it until then, I'm sorry, or the regular meeting in September.
Well, it's up to her if she thinks they can get it done in 2 weeks.
That's the thing, I don't know, I don't have the list, so I'd rather.
Well, I can read it to you.
they're gonna give you a copy, they're gonna give you a copy of it.
Let's go with the later date, just so that he's got the time to put something together, at least show you some kind of advancement,
Okay,
and have pictures here available, so at least we can show you his intentions are good.
Okay.
Because I believe he's, I was told he was working on it today when my secretary called him to
Okay.
remind him
Okay.
about, the meeting. Will we need to appear again today at 7 PM?
yes, you will, for that committee.
For today, though?
Oh, no, not for tonight.
Just on the 5th, we'll come back
Committee.
twice? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can get with,
Okay.
Jeff Gary.
Chief Bridges will get you to the right person.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Can I get a motion to hold it over until the next committee meeting?
So moved.
Alderman
Second.
Florian,
I'll second
second
it.
by Alderman
Thank you,
Turner.
Turner, for supporting me on that.
Absolutely.
That's a motion to continue to September 5th, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll let you know exactly what time.
But it'll be
that
the
meeting
earliest
is.
at 5.
Okay.
Well, do we need to vote on it? Oh, just, oh, okay.
All right, item B, ordinance approving zoning calendar 2720, conditional use permit for a car wash at 630 South Green Bay Road.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Alderman Turner,
Second.
second by Alderman Florian. Is there anyone here that wants to speak regarding the car wash on Green Bay? Would you like to speak? Are there any questions? Any committee members have any questions?
I just know that the staff was concerned about the water issues, and that's been addressed, right?
That's correct, it has been addressed.
And then the noise, I missed planning and zoning, which I never miss. Was that an issue brought up by the neighbors at all? Was the vacuum noise?
There was a sound study that was done.
Yes, right, but I
as
didn't
part of
know
it.
if anybody was concerned about that, I don't
Nobody
know.
expressed that.
Yeah.
They got a far
Hi.
away from the car dealership. I mean, the car wash.
Yeah, speak up.
Something's wrong with the microphone.
We did a
There
vacuum
it
noise case sound study, and everything is in conformity. It's in a commercial district, so we have a property vacant just south of it, and I think it's or some towers just west of it. So it's kind of in an isolated location, really, with nothing, no residential or too much around. But regardless, the noise study was done. It's going to be a fully automated, very, very quiet car wash.
What's the cross street? I can't picture 630.
Across the street is the Secretary of State building,
Oh, yes.
and I think it was the old OTB building, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. And then there's also I think it's a Gojo restaurant right up
Across
the
the
street. Yes,
street. Okay.
that's where it is.
Everybody knows Gojo.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Any more questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Donenworth,
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye, motion carried. Item C, thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Ordinance increasing the number of Class K1 banquet liquor license by one for Salon Latino Banquet Salon LLC, DBA Salon Latino Banquet Hall at 1015 Belvedere Street.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Alderman Turner.
Second.
Second by Alderman Donenworth. Are there any questions to this?
Is that by Glen Rock? Where
No,
is
that's closer to Jackson, in Belvedere. Alderman Florian?
Just east of Fire Station number 1.
I think the applicant is here.
Yeah, I have a couple questions. Hello.
Hi,
Hi. Your name, please?
I'm Connie Smith,
Okay.
and I'm asking to renew or reinstate or whatever with my license at 1015 Belvedere Road, Salon Latino, and
I know where that is.
that's what I'm asking.
So you failed to renew on April 30th, right?
I'm sorry?
You failed to renew your license on April 30th?
Yes.
Was this your first year renewing?
No, I've had the license since 2009. I have
So
never...
you knew it was due on April
Always,
30th? Yeah.
always.
How many events have you held since April 30th?
Since we have moved in there?
No, since April 30th. You were supposed to renew your license April 30th, you
Oh.
didn't. It's now August 7th. How many events have you had in
But-
between there?
I can look at my calendar. Also, I've sent in my taxes. I think it's there. Hold on one second. Since April, right?
April 30th, so essentially May 1st.
April. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 in May. 4 in June.
That's 10.
6, 7,
Ms. Connie?
8 in July.
Ms. Connie, excuse me?
And last Saturday.
Who was taking care of the renewing the liquor license before this year?
I'm sorry?
Who was taking care of the renewal for your liquor
Me.
license? You were doing it every
Me,
year?
Always.
Okay.
I do everything.
Oh, okay. How
Yes.
did you forget? Oh, okay, okay.
Sorry. Do you want me to say it for you? Her husband passed away, and so she's been going through some difficult times, and so that's why she
You can give it back.
wasn't
to
able
me.
to renew in time.
It's relevant to you.
So,
Get it.
Okay.
We have never had problems.
Right, but you've now held, I lost count, 17 events without a liquor license. Does your insurance cover you when you don't have a license? Like your dram shop?
I don't know, I never thought about it.
Well, that's what we're paid to do, is to think about those things. You know, this is you serve alcohol to the people of our community, and you're responsible for making sure they don't overdrink, and you don't serve minors, and you have to have insurance to cover all that. And if you don't have a license, I'm pretty sure the insurance doesn't cover that stuff. So I'm so sorry for your loss, and I don't mean to add on to your
I know.
drama here. But we've had this happen. We've had this happen. Another business in my ward had failed to renew because of an illness, and they were then required to pay a penalty to get their license. So I think it's only fair we do the same exact thing here. I mean, she's held numerous events without a liquor license. I understand you've had, you know, stuff going on in your life. I get that, but it's a requirement. It's something that's required every year, so
I
I don't know how
understand.
my fellow aldermen feel about it. We've done it with other businesses that have done the same thing.
What did we do with that last one up in your ward?
$700 fine.
Okay.
And wasn't there another fine too?
I don't know. I mean, the mayor's here. She's the
The
liquor
mayor's
commissioner.
fine,
Was it
too.
just 700? I think it was 750. Okay. 750. Oh, but this is more than that, so, I mean, I would be happy with the $750 fine if you guys want to make it more.
Yeah, I don't know that this body has the authority to reinstate with a fine.
Well, but what we did the last time, I think Stu was here, what we said is we would grant the license on the condition that there was a fine levied, and then the mayor made the decision about how much the fine was.
I see, so, it would just be amending the ordinance then to ensure that all fines are paid prior to the issuance of a
Yes,
license.
that's
So-
exactly what
So we
Stu
would need a
said.
motion to amend the ordinance to provide that all fines are paid prior to the issuance of the license.
Okay.
And then we can amend the ordinance through a vote.
Okay. So I make the motion that we amend the ordinance to include the statement that the fines must be paid before the license is issued.
What was the reason, Lynn, for that last time at the other spot? Why did they not renew?
Because there was a kid in the hospital in intensive care.
What, are you talking about York House?
Mm-hmm.
No, and the other owners buried the license so she couldn't find it.
Well, he told
order
us
to renew
here
thing.
that it was because his nephew was in intensive care, that they didn't, the niece was running the place and her son was in the hospital, and that's why the license didn't get renewed. That's what they told us here. I didn't know anything about it being buried.
That's what she said in the mail. She
Mm.
stood right there and said that they had buried it under the mail, so she had no idea where it was.
Mm.
The old
Okay.
owners, sorry.
So I made a motion. Is anyone willing to second it?
What's the motion?
That they have to pay fines before they get their license renewed.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you.
What is the amendment now? That all fines will be?
So I'm understanding that the motion was to amend the ordinance to include that all fines are to be paid prior to the issuance of a license. And then there was a second, and then there would be a roll call and then amendment to the ordinance.
Okay, oh, okay, so you got the amendment, okay. Roll call for the amendment.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Donenworth,
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
I'll vote aye for the amendment.
So now, not to be a stickler, but there has to be a motion to approve the item as amended with a second and then a roll call.
Okay, I motion that we approve it.
I'll make the second.
Okay, motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Turner to approve the amended ordinance.
Good job.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Donenworth,
Aye.
excuse me, Alderman Newsom.
Nay, as I vote no for all liquor licenses. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. I don't vote for you. I'm
Okay.
asking.
Moving to item D.
It was a mistake I made.
Ordinance increasing the number of Class C retail package sale liquor licenses by one for Bueller Grand Corp. DBA Grand Liquors at 1328 Grand Avenue.
I'll make the
Can
motion.
I- Motion by Alderman Turner. Second.
Second.
Second by Alderman Donenworth. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Donenworth,
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Nay. Item E, motion carried. Item E, resolution approving change order number 2 with the Atmount Foundation per section 2-458 subsection I-7, good faith waiver for the Youth Fire Hydrant Restoration Program for $16,000. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Alderman Turner. Second.
Second.
Second by Alderman Florian. Are there any questions to this motion?
I do have a
Alderman
question.
Florian?
I see Mr. Garland's here. I'm hearing a little chatter in the community about this program, mostly good, but a little negative chatter. And what I'm curious about, and you may not be able to answer this here, you can tell me later if you can't. How many of your men do you think it would have taken to replace the work that these youth did this summer? Again, if you can't answer me now, it's fine. I'd just like to know, because it sounds like a lot of money that we've paid for this, but I think we would have paid even more to our regular employees to get it done. But I can't. Only you know that.
And that's correct. And I would have to get with the director of the water department and see how he functioned that in the past, and then go from there. Because it's just not one process. It's like 2 or 3 processes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would have to get with him on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Donenworth,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye. Motion carried. Item F, resolution waiving competitive bidding per section 2-458 subsection I-7, good faith waiver for the purchase of a 2024 Kia Carnival from Classic Auto Dealer LLC for an amount not to exceed $38,617.26. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Alderman Donenworth,
Second.
second by Alderman Turner. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Donenworth,
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye. Motion carried. Reports and communication, A, zoning calendar number 2703, a conditional use permit for the Park District recreational facility has been withdrawn, and that's information only. Item 7, adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion by Alderman Florian. Second to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Alderman Turner to adjourn at 5:43. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.